My name is Erica Curtis, and the case I chose to discuss today is the Ropers versus Simmons case. This case is about capital punishment for juveniles. First, I would like to discuss the reason capital punishment for this case was taken into consideration. At the age of 17, Christopher Simmons planned and committed a capital murder along with two of his younger friends, Charles Benjamin and John Tessimer. Simmons convinced them that they would get away with the crime because they were younger. They met at 2 a.m. the night of the murder, but Tester dropped out. Simmons recognizes Mrs. Crook from a previous car accident involving them both. Simmons admitted this confirmed the reason he wanted to murder her. There they tied her up, duct taped her, and threw her off a bridge in St. Louis County River. They also committed the crime in her minivan. The next day, Simmons went along bragging about the killing to his friends. After receiving the information about Simmons' involvement, the police arrested him at his high school. The next day, also, her husband, Stephen Crook, came home to his wife missing in their bedroom messed up and reported her missing. The same day, firemen recovered Mrs. Crook's body in the river. Fishermen recovered her body in the river. When the case went to trial, Simmons had confessed to the murder, performed a videotape reenactment at the crime scene, and there also was against him that showed premeditation. The jury then returned a guilty verdict. Accepting the jury's recommendation, the trial judge imposed the death penalty for Simmons. Simmons called this sentence unfair due to his age and requested that the sentence be set aside due to the ineffective counsel. Simmons and his defense attorney argued that his age should make a huge difference because individuals at this age were irresponsible. The jury still wanted the death penalty for Simmons. Simmons later obtained a new lawyer who argued that he was very irresponsible, immature, very impulsive, and susceptible to being manipulated. They also used a clinical evaluation from a psychologist. Simmons' background included a rough home environment, trouble in school, and also drug usage that the lawyer argued should have been brought about in the previous sentencing. Simmons' appeal was denied for post-conviction relief with the Missouri Supreme Court and also the federal courts. Simmons was on to file a new petition with the Atkins versus Virginia for the 8th and 15th Amendment. It prohibits the execution of a juvenile who was under 18 when the crime was committed. The Missouri Supreme Court agreed that state ex rel. Simmons versus Roper. On this reasoning, it set aside Simmons' death sentence and resentenced him to life imprisonment without eligibility for probation, parole, or release except by the act of the governor. Finally, the court pointed to overwhelming international opinion against the juvenile death penalty. So now I would like to discuss the two amendments, which are the 8th and 14th Amendments, which caused Roper not to be executed during his time of the crime. By a vote of 5-4, the U.S. Supreme Court on March 1st, 2005, held that the execution of offenders who were under the age of 18 when their crimes were committed. The 8th Amendment is excessive bail that shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel or unusual punishments. The 14th Amendment guarantees the right to due process and equal protection to every citizen.